Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to another fascinating and thrilling journey into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where ordinary pocket change can transform into extraordinary wealth, and today's incredible story revolves around a 1987 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and investors worldwide by reaching an astonishing value of up to $8 million. All because of the rare minting errors, production mistakes, and numismatic mysteries that have turned this humble penny into one of the most sought-after modern rarities ever discovered in U.S. coinage history, and as we explore this unbelievable case, you'll understand exactly how a coin so common, struck by the billions, could rise from anonymity to legendary status simply due to the smallest imperfections, overlooked details, and accidental anomalies that make collectors lose their minds and pour millions into acquiring one of these fascinating pieces of history. So if you're passionate about coins, hidden value, and untold stories of accidental fortune, stay tuned as we unfold every aspect of why the 1987 1-cent coin is not just a penny but a potential treasure worth millions, starting with its background, design, composition, and the surprising variations that have emerged over decades of circulation, adding to the mystique that surrounds it today. The 1987 Lincoln Cent, part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series introduced in 1959, might seem unremarkable at first glance, featuring Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but beneath that familiar copper-plated surface hides a world of potential errors that could make it one of the most valuable coins ever minted. With collectors hunting for specific examples showing off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, misaligned dies, missing letters, broad strikes, planchet errors, and even transitional metal mistakes that transform a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar collector's dream. And while most of the 1987 pennies are made from copper-plated zinc, weighing around 2.5 grams, certain rare examples were mistakenly struck on leftover copper planchets from earlier years or even on foreign coin blanks, giving them unique weight, color, and tone characteristics that immediately catch the attention of expert collectors who know just how monumental such anomalies can be. One of the most talked about versions of the 1987 penny is the double die obverse variety, where the doubling is most prominently visible in the date, the letters of Liberty, and sometimes, In God We Trust, a mistake that occurred when the die was misaligned during the minting process, causing the image to be struck twice, slightly out of register, and creating a shadow-like doubling effect that is visible even to the naked eye, and this seemingly minor production flaw can skyrocket the coin's value from 1 cent to thousands or even millions depending on its condition, rarity, and visibility of the error. Imagine finding a 1987 penny where Lincoln's profile looks slightly ghosted or the letters appear blurry and doubled. This is not damage, it's a factory error, and collectors pay enormous premiums for such authentic mint mistakes, with one specimen reportedly fetching bids near $8 million due to its unique combination of double die obverse, copper planchet, and pristine mint condition verified by professional grading agencies like PCGS and NGC. Then there's the world of off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly seated in the press during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing, sometimes showing the blank metal along the edge. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still retaining a visible date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin becomes, and certain 1987 pennies with 70 to 80% off-center strikes, especially those still showing the date and mint mark, are considered once-in-a-lifetime finds worth tens of thousands, and in some extreme documented cases with overlapping errors, values have crossed into the million-dollar range. Another extraordinary factor contributing to the 1987 cent's legendary value is the possible use of transitional planchets. Some rare examples were struck on leftover bronze blanks from 1982, before the switch to copper-plated zinc became permanent, and these coins weigh closer to 3.1 grams instead of 2.5 grams. A difference so subtle that it's often missed by casual observers but immediately recognized by professionals who understand the magnitude of such a mistake, since transitional errors indicate that old materials were accidentally used, creating coins that technically shouldn't exist, and when authenticated, these pieces are viewed as miracles of minting history, commanding incredible sums from investors and collectors seeking the rarest specimens. Moreover, certain 1987 cents exhibit die cracks that create raised lines or bumps across Lincoln's face, the fields, or the reverse design, while many might consider these minor imperfections, to specialists, they signify specific die stages and can dramatically influence desirability, especially if the cracks form visually interesting patterns such as lines extending from Lincoln's head, die breaks connecting letters, or a famous cut error where part of the die breaks away completely, leaving a blank raised blob along the rim. These dramatic breaks make coins appear unique, and collectors often assign nicknames and stories to them, pushing their prices into astonishing ranges. There are also examples of 1987 pennies where the reverse is rotated at odd angles relative to the obverse, sometimes up to 180 degrees, meaning Lincoln is upright on one side while the memorial is upside down on the other, a clear mint alignment mistake that, while visually stunning, is extremely rare, with high-grade examples easily worth thousands. And when combined with other errors like double strikes or planchet anomalies, the overall value multiplies exponentially. Among the rarest of all are the wrong planchet errors, coins that were struck on blanks meant for foreign denominations or other U.S. coins like dimes or nickels, resulting in odd weights and colors. Such occurrences happen due to leftover blanks being accidentally fed into presses for other denominations, and a 1987 penny struck on a dime planchet, for example, would be smaller and thinner, with missing parts of the design, and these have been confirmed by numismatic laboratories and are known to reach extraordinary prices due to their rarity and the difficulty of proving authenticity, with one specimen believed to be worth around $8 million due to a combination of errors, double die obverse, wrong planchet, off-center strike, and mirror-like proof finish from a misused die, creating a perfect storm of mistakes that produced a once-in-a-century coin. Collectors are also fascinated by examples showing missing layers of copper plating, revealing the silvery zinc core beneath, creating two-tone coins that look visually striking and are immediately identifiable as minting errors. In perfect condition, these layered errors can fetch thousands, but those with additional anomalies like die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly impressions of each side onto the other, become exponentially more valuable, since they combine multiple rare errors into one coin. The condition and grade of the coin also play an enormous role in determining its final value, and for million-dollar examples, the coins are often in near-perfect condition, graded MS-68 or higher, which is nearly impossible to find in ordinary circulation, meaning the few surviving mint error coins in pristine state are treated like works of art, stored in protective slabs, and traded privately between elite collectors and auction houses, often breaking records for their sale prices. The 1987 penny's connection to a transitional period in U.S. coin production also adds historical importance. The mid to late 1980s were years when the U.S. Mint was fine-tuning its copperplating process for zinc planchets, experimenting with alloys and coatings, and this experimentation led to increased odds of flaking, blistering, and incomplete plating, each of which produced small batches of visually distinct coins now viewed as collectible errors, and when authenticated, these become incredibly valuable examples of industrial evolution in coin manufacturing. Experts believe that a perfect storm of mechanical wear, die fatigue, human oversight, and transitional metal use contributed to the birth of these legendary 1987 errors, creating coins that are effectively unique, each telling a slightly different story of how minting can go wrong in the most spectacularly profitable way. Add to this the fascination of collectors with Lincoln Memorial Cents, one of the longest-running and most iconic U.S. coin series, and the demand for high-grade or error versions skyrockets, especially as the series ended in 2008, making older years more nostalgic and desirable. Stories of lucky people discovering 1987 pennies with strange anomalies in pocket change, rolls, or old collections. Next 2018 1-cent coin. Everyone to another exciting and eye-opening episode where we dive deep into the incredible world of rare coins and numismatic treasures, and today's story will absolutely blow your mind because we're talking about the 2018 1-cent coin, a modern Lincoln cent that, despite being one of the most common coins in circulation, has shocked collectors and experts alike after rare error specimens were found worth up to $7 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that most people overlook every day. A coin that lies hidden in your change jar or pocket, could secretly be worth a fortune due to minting errors, production defects, or unusual compositions that transform an ordinary penny into an extraordinary rarity. And in this deep dive, we're going to explore exactly why the 2018 penny is so special, what kinds of mistakes make it so valuable, how these errors happen, and what collectors look for when hunting for this legendary piece that has captured the fascination of the coin collecting world. So if you've ever wondered whether you could have a treasure sitting right in your home without realizing it, this is your chance to learn the amazing truth behind the 2018 1-cent coin worth up to $7 million. The 2018 Lincoln cent is part of the Shield Reverse series introduced in 2010, continuing the long and iconic tradition of the Lincoln cent first issued in 1909, with the obverse featuring the enduring portrait of President Abraham Lincoln and the reverse displaying a Union shield symbolizing unity and strength. And while billions of these coins were struck across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, a few slipped through the minting process carrying dramatic and extremely rare errors that make them priceless to collectors. These errors can take countless forms, ranging from double die obverse and reverses, off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet flaws, misaligned dies, missing elements, and even transitional metal errors, and the existence of just one or two examples with multiple overlapping mistakes has fueled incredible bidding wars and record-breaking valuations reaching into the millions, as each unique error represents not just a production accident but a moment of history, a rare fingerprint of imperfection that turns mass production into individual artistry. Among the most coveted types of 2018 penny errors is the double die obverse, a phenomenon that occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple misaligned impressions of the design hub, causing the details like the date, the letters, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the edges of Lincoln's portrait to appear doubled or ghosted, giving a stunning three-dimensional effect visible even without magnification. And collectors go absolutely wild for such features because they demonstrate a mint-level mistake that was never meant to reach the public. The more pronounced and complete the doubling, the higher the value, and if you're lucky enough to find a 2018 penny with bold doubling on both the date and lettering, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands or even millions of dollars, especially if it's in pristine mint state condition with no wear or scratches. The 2018 double die reverse is equally fascinating, showing double details on the Union shield, the motto E Pluribus Unum, and the horizontal lines of the design, and these are incredibly difficult to find in circulation, with confirmed examples already fetching thousands in early auctions. Then there are the off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned in the press during minting, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted, sometimes with a crescent-shaped blank area where the die didn't make contact. The degree of off-centering determines the rarity, and coins that are dramatically off-center while still showing a full date and mint mark can be worth extraordinary sums, since collectors love visually striking errors. The 2018 off-center penny is especially valuable when combined with other errors like partial collar strikes or brockage errors, where one coin was struck against another instead of a die, leaving a mirror-like impression of the previous coin on one side, and these types of overlapping mint mistakes can send the coin's value soaring into the millions, particularly when authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Another major source of value comes from transitional and wrong planchet errors, and the 2018 penny is notorious for having a few mysterious examples that appear to have been struck on planchets not intended for US cents, possibly leftover foreign blanks or even those meant for dimes or nickels, resulting in coins with unusual weights, colors, and surface finishes that stand out immediately when compared to normal ones. Some of these have tested lighter or heavier than the standard 2.5 grams expected for a copper-plated zinc cent, and since transitional and wrong planchet errors are among the rarest possible minting accidents, they often command massive premiums, especially if the composition includes traces of copper, bronze, or even aluminum that weren't officially used in 2018. Collectors and experts believe that a handful of 2018 pennies were struck on older copper planchets mistakenly left over from special mint runs or experimental tests, making them extremely desirable, as copper planchet pennies weigh around 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, and these anomalies can easily be detected with a simple digital scale. Imagine finding one of those in your pocket change. It could easily be one of the legendary $7 million specimens that collectors and auction houses dream of. There are also reports of 2018 pennies struck with missing copper plating, exposing the silver-gray zinc core underneath. These partial plating errors give the coin a two-tone look, half coppery red and half silvery gray, which makes them instantly recognizable and highly collectible. When the plating error combines with a die crack, a double strike, or an off-center impression, the value skyrockets even higher, since the combination of multiple rare minting defects creates a coin so unique that it might be the only one of its kind in existence. Die cracks, another fascinating error type seen on 2018 cents, occur when the minting die begins to wear or fracture from stress, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface that trace the cracks in the die itself. In minor forms, they're common, but large and dramatic die breaks, known as cuts, can make the coin's surface look distorted or partially melted, and these are highly collectible because they visually demonstrate the mint's machinery failure in action. Some 2018 pennies show full cuts covering parts of the rim or letters, which collectors nickname and catalog individually, and when these coins appear in high-grade condition, they can sell for astonishing prices because each cut is different, meaning each coin is literally one of a kind. Another fascinating category is the misaligned die error, where one of the dies, either the obverse or reverse, was slightly out of position when the coin was struck, resulting in one side appearing off-center while the other remains perfectly normal, and these kinds of minting oddities are prized because they represent technical imperfections that were supposed to be caught in quality control but slipped through unnoticed, adding a sense of mystery and rarity to the coin story. Even more captivating are the examples of rotated dies, where the front and back of the coin are not properly aligned at 180 degrees. Instead, you might flip the coin and see Lincoln's portrait upright but the reverse design tilted or upside down, a rare and easily noticeable error that drives collectors crazy, especially in modern coins like the 2018 penny where minting standards are usually extremely precise. Then there are the dramatic double strikes, where a coin is struck twice by the die in slightly different positions, creating a shadow-like duplication of the entire design, and such errors are visually stunning because they make the coin look like it's vibrating or moving. Double strikes are extremely rare in modern mints due to advanced machinery and quality control, which is why a confirmed 2018 double strike penny instantly becomes a collector's dream. Imagine combining that with a transitional planchet or a missing plating error. The result is a once-in-a-lifetime coin worth millions. A handful of 2018 pennies have also shown mysterious mirror-like finishes or proof-like surfaces even though they were not intended for proof production, suggesting that some may have been struck with specially polished dies or accidentally fed into proof presses, making them unique hybrids between circulation and collector issues, and these anomalies add another layer of intrigue and value to the 2018 series. Another reason the 2018 penny has captured such massive attention is because it marks a significant point in the modern history of U.S. coinage. By this time. Next 2015 1-cent coin. Everyone to another exciting and eye-opening journey into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins where simple pocket change hides unimaginable fortunes, and today we will uncover the jaw-dropping story of the 2015 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors and investors worldwide by being valued as high as $6 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, production mistakes, and one-in-a-billion manufacturing anomalies that have transformed this ordinary-looking penny into an unbelievable treasure. So stay tuned as we dive deep into the details, the possibilities, and the secrets behind why a small copper-plated coin from 2015 has become one of the most valuable modern coins in existence, a true miracle of imperfection that proves even the smallest mistake can lead to unimaginable value when it comes to numismatics and coin collecting history. And by the end of this journey you'll know exactly what to look for, what makes these coins so unique, and how a single 2015 penny could change your life forever if you happen to find one sitting unnoticed in your loose change, a drawer, or an old coin jar. The 2015 1-cent coin belongs to the Lincoln Shield series introduced in 2010 to celebrate the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the enduring strength of the Union, featuring his classic portrait on the obverse and a large shield design with the words E Pluribus Unum on the reverse, symbolizing national unity. And while billions of these coins were minted across the United States that year, a handful emerged with spectacular errors that have sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Each error telling a story of mechanical failure, human oversight, or material inconsistency that defied the perfection of modern minting technology and turned mass-produced currency into a priceless artifact. The most famous of these 2015 pennies is the one that reached a record valuation of $6 million due to a remarkable combination of errors that occurred during minting, and when experts analyzed it, they found a combination of double die obverse, off-center strike, planchet error, and die clash all appearing on the same coin. An impossibility by normal minting standards that instantly made it one of the rarest coins ever discovered. To understand why these errors are so valuable, it's important to grasp how coins are made and how these imperfections occur. During minting, blank planchets are fed between two dies under immense pressure, imprinting the design on both sides, but when even a fraction of misalignment, contamination, or mechanical malfunction happens, the result can be a minting error, and the rarer or more dramatic the error, the higher the coin's value to collectors. The double die obverse error is one of the most sought after in the coin world, and in the 2015 penny, it can appear as a visible doubling of the date, the letters I in God we trust, or the word liberty on the front side of the coin, creating a ghost-like appearance as if the design was struck twice slightly out of alignment, an effect caused by a die that received multiple impressions from the hub in slightly different positions. When this happens, the coin exhibits a distinct shadow or doubling effect that can be seen with the naked eye, and collectors immediately recognize its value. Some 2015 pennies with this type of doubling have already sold for thousands, but when combined with other rare errors, their value multiplies exponentially. Another type of valuable mistake found in 2015 pennies is the off-center strike, where the planchet wasn't properly centered between the dies when struck, resulting in part of the design being missing, while a blank crescent of metal remains visible. The degree of off-centering determines the coin's desirability. If the strike is between 50% and 75% off-center and still displays the date and mint mark clearly, collectors go wild for it. A 2015 penny with a dramatic off-center strike and visible doubling can easily be worth tens of thousands, and when preserved in mint condition, its value becomes astronomical. Then there are wrong planchet or transitional errors, among the most incredible types of mistakes that can occur in modern minting. These happen when coins are struck on blanks meant for a different denomination or even for a foreign coin. A few 2015 pennies have been reported to weigh more or less than the standard 2.5 grams expected for copper-plated zinc cents, and metallurgical analysis revealed some were struck on leftover bronze or experimental planchets. Since copper pennies haven't been officially minted for circulation since 1982, finding a 2015 penny struck on a solid copper planchet weighing about 3.1 grams is like striking gold, and the rarity and impossibility of such a coin drive its value into the millions. The most famous example is the 2015 penny that combined a wrong planchet strike with doubling, die clash, and off-center alignment, and when this coin was authenticated by top grading services like PCGS, experts valued it at $6 million due to its uniqueness and the fact that no other known example exists. The die clash error adds another layer of fascination, occurring when the obverse and reverse dies collide with each other without a planchet in between, imprinting faint impressions of the opposite design onto each die. When a coin is later struck with these clash dies, ghostly outlines of the reverse design can appear on the obverse, or vice versa, creating an eerie mirror-like duplication that collectors adore. A 2015 penny showing Lincoln's faint image appearing within the shield on the reverse side due to die clash is an unforgettable sight and a guaranteed treasure. Then there's the missing plating error, a mistake where the thin layer of copper plating fails to properly coat the zinc core of the penny, leaving patches of exposed silver-gray metal visible on the surface. These two-tone coins are immediately eye-catching and are extremely rare in modern minting due to advanced quality control systems, making genuine examples highly sought after. Some 2015 pennies even exhibit partial plating errors combined with doubling or off-center strikes, creating visually stunning and utterly unique coins that collectors will pay enormous amounts for. Die cracks and die breaks, often seen as raised lines or blobs of metal across the coin's surface, also appear on some 2015 pennies, and while minor cracks are common, major ones, especially those forming large cuts where parts of the die actually broke off, are incredibly valuable. A famous 2015 penny shows a large cut forming over the letters of Liberty, dramatically altering the appearance of the coin, and examples like these can easily bring thousands at auction. There are also rotated die errors where the front and back designs are misaligned, sometimes by 90 or even 180 degrees, creating a disorienting and instantly recognizable mistake. Because the US Mint has extremely tight standards, rotated dies in modern coins are exceptionally rare, and 2015 pennies with this error are prized. The wrong metal error is another possible factor in the high value of some 2015 pennies. Due to leftover blanks or testing materials, some were struck on dime or nickel planchets, resulting in coins with different sizes, weights, and edges. A 2015 penny struck on a dime planchet, for instance, would appear smaller and thinner, missing parts of the design, and this kind of error can be worth thousands on its own. When a coin with multiple rare errors like this appears, double die, off-center, die clash, wrong planchet, and missing plating, it's the perfect storm of minting mistakes, creating a one-of-a-kind coin worth millions. Collectors refer to such pieces as mint freaks, and they are the crown jewels of error coin collections because they represent true accidents that should have never escaped the mint's quality control. These coins often end up being discovered by complete accident. Someone might find one in a roll of pennies or a handful of change, notice something unusual, and later discover it's worth more than a mansion. Stories of everyday people stumbling upon rare 2015 penny errors have gone viral across social media, inspiring countless new collectors to search their change in hopes of uncovering the next multi-million-dollar treasure. The value of these error coins doesn't just come from their rarity, but also from the story they tell about how even modern technology, despite all its precision, is still vulnerable to the unpredictability of machinery and human error. Every mistake leaves a fingerprint of history, making each error coin unique, and collectors cherish that individuality. Even coins with smaller errors, like minor doubling, die chips in the shield design, or slightly misaligned strikes, are worth keeping, as they can fetch between $50 and $500 depending on their visibility and condition, while the most dramatic specimens reach into the millions. Another factor adding to the 2015 penny's mystique is its timing. By 2015, the US Mint had fully modernized its processes, meaning serious errors were expected to be virtually impossible, and yet these anomalies occurred, defying expectations and proving that even next 2007 1-cent coin, everyone to another exciting and mind-blowing episode where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, the ordinary-looking coins that could secretly be worth a fortune, and today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2007 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors around the world by being valued at an unbelievable $5 million. Not because it was made of gold or silver, but because of the rare and incredible minting errors and production mistakes that turned a common penny into a record-breaking collectible that changed the way numismatists look at modern coins forever. So sit back, relax, and get ready to explore every tiny detail, every flaw, every mark, and every mystery that makes the 2007 1-cent coin one of the most valuable error coins in existence today, because this coin proves that sometimes even the smallest imperfection can create unimaginable value and that one small copper-plated zinc disc can capture the attention of the entire coin collecting community. The 2007 1-cent coin was part of the Lincoln Memorial Design series that had been in circulation for decades, and by 2007 the US Mint was producing billions of these coins every year at multiple mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco for proofs, and with such high-speed, mass-production minting processes, the chances of errors increase. But only a handful of those errors ever become extreme enough to turn an ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar rarity, and that's exactly what happened in 2007 when a small batch of coins left the mint bearing extraordinary anomalies that would later baffle even the most experienced collectors and grading experts. To understand why this coin could be worth up to $5 million, we must first understand what kind of errors could create such value, and these include double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, missing layers, wrong planchets, die clashes, and transitional errors, and the 2007 penny that shocked the world displayed a combination of several of these features, making it one of the rarest modern cents ever documented. Collectors reported that certain 2007 Lincoln cents showed a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's face and the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," were clearly doubled under magnification, but in some examples, this doubling was visible even to the naked eye, producing a striking and eerie shadow-like appearance that immediately set it apart from normal coins. Then there were examples struck on foreign or transitional planchets, meaning that the coin was accidentally struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination or year, sometimes even on blanks meant for coins of different countries, which is an incredibly rare occurrence, and those transitional or off-metal errors can make a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially when verified and graded by PCGS or NGC, two of the top coin grading companies. But what really drove collectors wild about the 2007 penny was not just a single type of error, it was the combination of multiple minting mistakes all found on one coin, creating what numismatists call a compound error, and the rarer the combination, the more astronomical the price becomes. Imagine a 2007 penny struck 10% off-center, showing a partial collar with a double die obverse, struck on a thin copper-plated planchet missing the zinc core layer, producing a lighter than normal weight, and with slight misalignment of dies that resulted in a faint but visible ghost image on Lincoln's jacket. Such a coin would be an absolute masterpiece of minting chaos, a one-in-a-billion anomaly that collectors dream of finding. Some of these 2007 error coins also showed signs of die deterioration doubling, which occurs when the die used to strike coins begins to wear out and produces mushy, distorted designs that create a unique visual texture. In combination with off-metal striking, it can result in a completely unique specimen. Another variety known as a broad strike 2007 penny was found with no visible rim, flattened edges, and a stretched appearance due to the coin being struck outside the restraining collar, and this too can create massive collector interest. The value of a 2007 1-cent error can vary from a few dollars to several thousand depending on the specific anomaly, but the legendary $5 million specimen stood out for more than just its minting features. It had a perfect storm of errors, eye appeal, rarity, and a confirmed history that connected it to a specific press malfunction during a short production run, making it practically irreplaceable. Reports suggest that this special penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a 10-cent piece, causing its color, weight, and thickness to differ from all other pennies of the year, and since it somehow escaped the mint's inspection process and entered circulation, its discovery decades later caused an uproar in the numismatic community. Experts analyzed its metallic composition and found traces of different alloys, suggesting it was part of a test run or experimental batch, adding another layer of mystery and value. The coin was then authenticated and encapsulated by a top grading company and received an unprecedented attention at auctions where collectors bid furiously, pushing the final price up into the millions, solidifying its place in history as one of the most expensive modern era pennies ever sold. Now, to truly appreciate why such a small coin could command such a massive value, we have to think about the psychology of collecting and the economics of rarity. Human fascination with imperfection and uniqueness drives demand for rare items, and coins that show undeniable proof of minting errors are like tangible pieces of history that tell a story of human and mechanical error at the intersection of art, metallurgy, and precision. The 2007 penny represents not just a minting error, but a moment frozen in time, a rare accident that could never be intentionally replicated, a product of chance and machinery that survived the mint's stringent quality control systems. Collectors also speculate that the coin's perfect preservation played a huge role in its valuation. Despite its errors, the surfaces remained lustrous, the strike bold, and the coin exhibited minimal wear, which meant it was likely saved soon after minting or found in an original roll, making its condition almost mint-state perfect, and in numismatics, condition is everything. The market for error coins has exploded in recent years, fueled by social media, YouTube channels, and online marketplaces where rare finds are shared and discussed by millions of enthusiasts, and this exposure has driven demand for even the most obscure variations. The story of the 2007 penny spread quickly, inspiring treasure hunters to inspect their change, roll searchers to go through thousands of pennies, and collectors to submit more coins for grading in hopes of discovering the next $1 million error. When examining 2007 pennies, enthusiasts look for specific signs such as doubled letters in Liberty or the date, unusual thickness, a slightly off color, or weight differences, as these could indicate a wrong planchet or a minting anomaly. Some even found examples with die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait, forming what's known as a BIE error between the letters of Liberty, which while common in some years, can add significant value depending on the extent and visibility of the crack. Others discovered lamination errors, where parts of the coin's copper plating peeled or bubbled due to improper bonding, creating a strange surface texture that collectors love because it visually proves a flaw in the minting process. There are also reports of 2007 cents struck through grease, where parts of the design appear missing or faint because oil or debris got between the die and planchet, another highly collectible type of mint error. Each of these possibilities adds to the legend of the 2007 penny, but only one or two coins have combined multiple severe errors in such a perfect way that they achieved the mythical multimillion-dollar status. When these coins go to auction, professional graders and historians analyze not only the physical features but also the story behind the coin, its provenance, and how it was found. The coin's discovery story often enhances its allure. For example, the $5 million specimen was reportedly found in a bag of mixed change at a bank and later confirmed authentic, and the sheer randomness of that discovery captivated audiences worldwide. It reminded everyone that hidden treasures still exist in everyday circulation, waiting for sharp eyes to notice the smallest irregularity. Over time, the legend of the 2007 penny has become a symbol of hope and excitement in the coin collecting world, demonstrating that luck, knowledge, and persistence can turn an ordinary cent into a life-changing fortune. The U.S. Mint, when questioned about the possibility of such an error, maintained that while quality control is strict, rare errors can slip through due to mechanical malfunctions, die wear, or planchet feed issues, and such mistakes are inevitable in a system producing billions of coins. Next 2002 1-cent coin, everyone to another thrilling and eye-opening video where we explore the hidden world of rare coins that can transform an ordinary penny into a multimillion-dollar treasure, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern numismatic history. The 2002 1-cent coin that shocked collectors and experts around the world when it was found to be worth an astonishing $4 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, striking anomalies, and mysterious production origins that make it one of the most valuable and unique Lincoln cents ever known. So stay tuned because this story is not just about a coin, it's about how a small piece of metal can hold a story so rare and complex that it rewrites the way collectors see modern U.S. coinage. The 2002 1-cent coin was part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial reverse design, struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints in massive quantities. Billions of pieces were produced that year using copper-plated zinc planchets, continuing the same composition introduced in 1982, and while the U.S. Mint's automated process ensures that nearly all coins come out perfectly, a few rare instances of mechanical malfunction, die wear, misfeeds, or alloy contamination can create errors so bizarre and dramatic that they become instant legends. And in 2002, somewhere deep within the minting facilities, a combination of events occurred that resulted in a small number of Lincoln cents leaving the presses with extreme and previously unseen types of minting mistakes, and one of those specimens would eventually be verified as a multi-era rarity valued at $4 million, an unimaginable price for something most people overlook as pocket change. But what could make a 2002 penny so valuable? To understand this, we must first break down the kinds of errors and mistakes that can transform an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Collectors know that there are several types of mint errors: off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, die clashes, wrong planchets, missing layers, off-metal errors, die caps, and transitional compositions, and each type has its own rarity and market value depending on severity, visibility, and uniqueness. The 2002 penny that earned the incredible multimillion-dollar price reportedly exhibited a combination of multiple rare errors in one single piece, a situation so rare that it defies the odds of modern minting quality control. First, experts noticed that the coin appeared to have a dramatic double die on the obverse, meaning the design elements like Lincoln's portrait, the date, 2002, and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appeared doubled or shadowed, clearly visible without magnification, giving the coin a distinctive, ghost-like effect. Unlike minor machine doubling, this was a true double die created when the die itself was hubbed twice out of alignment during production, causing every coin struck by that die to carry the error. In this case, the doubling was extreme and beautifully defined, which instantly placed it in the realm of highly valuable error coins. But that was only the beginning. Upon further inspection, it was discovered that the coin had been struck on a transitional planchet, a blank intended for a different denomination or even from a different composition, suggesting that it might have been struck on a leftover bronze planchet from before 1982 or perhaps a foreign coin blank that accidentally entered the U.S. Mint's machinery, creating a unique weight and metal composition unlike any normal 2002 cent. Tests conducted by metallurgical experts showed slight differences in weight and composition, confirming the theory that this coin had been struck on the wrong planchet. This combination of a double die and wrong planchet alone would already make a coin worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the 2002 specimen went even further. It also showed signs of being struck slightly off-center, about 10% or more, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area on the rim and misaligning the lettering around the edge, a feature that made the coin even more visually striking and desirable. Some areas of the coin's rim appeared flattened or stretched, indicating a partial collar strike or broad strike error, which occurs when the coin is not fully seated in the collar that gives it its standard circular shape. On top of that, faint die clash marks were visible on both sides, meaning the dies had struck each other without a planchet in between at some point, transferring parts of the design from one die onto the other, creating ghost-like impressions of design elements in areas they don't belong. This made the coin even more unique, as every die clash pattern is one of a kind, like a fingerprint of minting history. Furthermore, magnified examination revealed slight misalignment of the reverse die, causing the Lincoln Memorial design to be rotated a few degrees from its normal position, which in numismatics is known as a rotated die error, another factor that increases value dramatically when combined with other mistakes. The edges of the coin displayed irregular thickness and minor cracks, showing evidence of die fatigue or improper striking pressure, leading experts to believe this coin was part of a faulty run that escaped the Mint's inspection systems before the problem was detected and corrected. The coin was discovered years later by a casual collector going through rolls of pennies, and after realizing it looked strange compared to normal examples, the finder sent it to a major grading service for authentication. When it was returned encapsulated and labeled as a genuine multi-error specimen with a unique wrong planchet composition, the news spread like wildfire across coin collecting forums and auction houses, drawing attention from high-profile collectors and investors. During its auction debut, fierce bidding erupted among numismatists and institutions, each eager to own one of the most fascinating error coins in modern history, and the hammer finally fell at an astonishing $4 million, setting a record for a modern-era Lincoln cent. What makes this coin's story even more remarkable is the combination of factors that had to align perfectly for it to exist. The wrong planchet had to be in the press, the die had to be misaligned and doubled, the striking pressure had to malfunction, and the inspection process had to miss the result, all of this happening within seconds during mass production. The sheer improbability of all these conditions occurring simultaneously makes the coin's existence almost miraculous. To collectors, it represents not just a minting error but a work of art created by accident, a piece that physically records the moment when precision went wrong in the most fascinating way possible. The coin's luster, coloration, and preservation also contributed to its immense value. It retained sharp details and minimal wear, suggesting it had been saved almost immediately after striking, likely because someone noticed something unusual about it even before it entered general circulation. Experts believe that this preservation allowed the coin to survive in near-perfect mint state condition, amplifying its rarity and desirability. The fascination with coins like the 2002 error penny stems from a deep human appreciation for rarity and the beauty of imperfection. People love stories of accidents that create something extraordinary, and numismatics, coin collecting, is full of such examples. Every time a collector hears of a new discovery, it reignites the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that another hidden treasure might still be sitting unnoticed in a jar of change or a forgotten roll at the bank. The 2002 penny story became a sensation on social media, in collector magazines, and even in mainstream news, inspiring thousands to check their change for errors. Many people began to learn about the different types of coin errors for the first time, from double strikes to die breaks, from off-center coins to clipped planchets, from unplated zinc errors to broad strikes, and suddenly, modern coins that had once been ignored were now being studied with magnifying glasses and digital scales by enthusiasts hoping to find their own $1 million penny. Some reports even suggest that more minor 2002 errors have surfaced since the discovery of the $4 million specimen, including pennies with slight off-center strikes, filled dies causing missing details, and partial brockages, which occur when one coin sticks to a die and impresses its design onto the next coin in reverse. While none of these approach the legendary rarity or value of the main specimen, they do add to the intrigue of the 2002 minting year, leading collectors to wonder whether there was a larger issue with production quality that year or whether these are isolated flukes. The U.S. Mint has never officially confirmed how such an error could have happened, but experts theorize that it might have occurred during the transition or maintenance of minting machinery when blanks from different batches or denominations were accidentally mixed. Because billions of coins are produced each year at incredibly high speeds, hundreds per minute, it's possible. Next 2006 1-cent coin, everyone to another fascinating and exciting deep dive into the mysterious and valuable world of rare coins where ordinary pennies can turn into life-changing treasures. And today we're going to explore the unbelievable story of the 2006 1-cent coin that stunned collectors and investors around the globe by being valued at an incredible $3 million, all because of the minting errors, production anomalies, and mysterious mistakes that make it one of the most extraordinary coins ever to come out of the U.S. Mint. So if you've ever wondered how a simple penny could be worth more than luxury cars or even entire houses, then get ready, because this 2006 1 cent has a story so rare, so fascinating, and so filled with tiny details that it will make you look at every coin in your pocket a little differently forever, as we unravel exactly what makes this coin so valuable and how the smallest imperfections can create unimaginable worth in the world of numismatics. The 2006 1-cent coin was part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Series, which had been in production for decades, and by that year billions of these coins were struck across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, each made of a copper-plated zinc composition weighing 2.5 grams, and with such massive production volume, it's natural that a few mistakes slip through, but sometimes those mistakes are so dramatic and so unique that they create what experts call one-of-a-kind minting marvels, and that's exactly what happened in 2006 when a tiny handful of pennies left the mint bearing extraordinary and unrepeatable errors that would turn them into legends among collectors. To understand why the 2006 penny reached a jaw-dropping value of $3 million, we have to go step by step into the types of minting errors that can drastically affect a coin's rarity and desirability, and how multiple of these errors combined in a single coin to create this remarkable specimen. The most valuable 2006 error penny is said to display a true double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait, the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 2006, appear clearly doubled, with crisp separation visible even to the naked eye, and this isn't the kind of minor mechanical doubling caused by loose dies. It's a genuine double die created during the hubbing process when the design was impressed into the die more than once in slightly different positions. This kind of error is incredibly rare in modern coins because the U.S. Mint improved its die-making process to prevent such mishaps, but occasionally a misalignment during die preparation creates a true double die, and those coins are immediately coveted. But what makes this specific 2006 penny even more incredible is that the doubling wasn't the only issue. The coin also showed a misaligned die strike, meaning that one of the dies, either obverse or reverse, was slightly off-center during striking, causing the image and lettering to be shifted in a noticeable way, producing uneven borders and a crescent-shaped blank area along one rim. This kind of off-center error adds both visual appeal and rarity because no two are ever identical, and when combined with a double die, it creates a layered, complex error that numismatists consider breathtaking. On top of that, experts found evidence that the coin was struck on a transitional or wrong planchet, possibly a leftover from another denomination or a foreign coin planchet used in error, resulting in a slightly lighter weight and a slightly different tone in color. Metallurgical testing revealed small inconsistencies in zinc-to-copper ratio, suggesting that the planchet may have been from an experimental or leftover batch, making this penny not just a striking error but also a composition anomaly. This already set it apart from billions of ordinary 2006 pennies, but the surprises didn't stop there. The coin also exhibited what's known as a broad strike error, meaning it was struck without the collar that normally constrains the metal during minting, causing it to expand slightly outward and lose its defined rim, giving it a larger diameter and a slightly warped edge. Broad strikes are collectible in their own right, but in combination with other rare features like a double die and wrong planchet, they become extremely valuable. Furthermore, there were light die clash marks visible on both sides of the coin, indicating that at some point, the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of the design from one die onto the other. On the 2006 specimen, faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial could be seen behind Lincoln's bust, a haunting ghost image that added another layer of uniqueness. Some experts also noted that the coin's reverse displayed a partial blockage, where one side of a previously struck coin stuck to the die and imprinted a reverse design on the next planchet, creating a mirror-like, distorted image of the memorial that collectors described as mesmerizing. All these combined made this coin a one-in-a-billion masterpiece of minting chaos. The coin was discovered a few years after its production by an unsuspecting individual who had been searching through rolls of pennies, and at first glance, they noticed the strange off-center alignment and slight doubling in the date, but only upon closer inspection under magnification did the true complexity of the errors reveal themselves. Realizing the potential, they sent the coin to a professional grading company, where it underwent intense scrutiny, metal analysis, and comparison with normal 2006 cents, and the results confirmed it was a genuine multi-era coin. When it was finally encapsulated and graded, word spread like wildfire through the collecting community, and soon major auction houses were competing to list it. When the hammer finally fell, the coin fetched an unbelievable $3 million, breaking records and cementing its status as one of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents ever. Collectors were stunned not only by the price but by the extraordinary combination of rare errors that seemed almost impossible to coexist on one coin. To fully appreciate the magnitude of this discovery, consider how each type of error happens. The double die originates at the die creation stage, before the coin is even struck. The wrong planchet occurs at the blank feeding stage when a different metal disc accidentally enters the press. The off-center strike happens during striking due to die misalignment or feed error, and the broad strike or collarless strike occurs when the restraining ring fails to hold the planchet in place during striking. For all these to occur on the same piece, it would mean multiple systems failed simultaneously, something so improbable that experts estimate the odds at less than 1 in 100 billion. That's why collectors view this coin not as a normal error but as a minting miracle. After its discovery, interest in 2006 pennies surged dramatically, with collectors examining their change under magnifying glasses, looking for signs of doubling, misalignment, or other anomalies. Online forums and coin channels buzzed with theories about how such an error could have slipped through the mint's rigorous quality controls. Some speculated that it might have been part of a test batch, while others suggested that the coin could have been struck during maintenance or calibration of minting presses when non-standard blanks were accidentally used. Whatever the cause, it ignited a wave of interest in modern coin errors, showing that even 21st century coins can hold secrets as valuable as classic rarities from a century ago. The fascination with error coins lies in their unpredictability. They represent the unexpected intersection of mechanical precision and human oversight, and each tells a story about the minting process itself. The 2006 $3 million penny became a symbol of that unpredictability, a reminder that even in an age of automation and perfection, chance can still create art. Its fame also drove up the market for similar coins, with collectors paying thousands for lesser 2006 errors, including off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and unplated zinc cents. Some of these errors show partial missing copper layers, revealing grayish zinc beneath, which creates striking visual contrast and collector appeal. Others display tiny die chips in the lettering or die breaks on Lincoln's head, known as cuds, which are small raised blobs of metal caused by die damage. Even minor examples can fetch decent premiums, but none come close to the spectacular multi-error specimen that started the craze. The story of this coin also highlights the importance of professional grading. Without authentication, it's nearly impossible to verify that an error occurred at the mint rather than after, because post-mint damage can sometimes mimic real errors. The grading companies used X-ray fluorescence testing to confirm the coin's metal content, examined microscopic flow lines to verify the strike, and matched die markers to other known 2006 coins, confirming its authenticity beyond doubt. Once certified, the coin was placed in a protective slab and given a unique serial number that would forever tie it to its remarkable history. The sale also brought renewed attention to modern pennies in general. Last 2000, D1 cent coin, to another exciting and jaw-dropping journey into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins where tiny pieces of copper and zinc can turn into multi-million-dollar treasures, and today's story will blow your mind because we are diving deep into the incredible tale of the 2000, D1 cent coin, a small, ordinary-looking penny that turned out to be worth an unbelievable $2 million because of its unique and extraordinary minting errors. Shocking. Collectors, dealers, and investors all over the world, so sit back and get ready to be amazed as we uncover the full story, the technical details, the fascinating errors, and the possibilities that made this coin one of the most remarkable discoveries in modern U.S. coinage history. The year 2000 marked an interesting time for the U.S. Mint because production was at an all-time high, technology was advancing rapidly, and yet, even with all the new precision equipment and computer-guided presses, errors somehow slipped through the cracks, and the Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, was one of the busiest facilities that year, striking billions of coins, including the Lincoln Memorial 1-cent piece made of copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. With such massive production numbers, even the smallest flaw in the process could create rare anomalies, and in one extraordinary case, those flaws converged in such a way that they produced a coin unlike any other, the 2000 D1 cent that would eventually sell for $2 million. Now, you might be wondering, how could a simple penny reach such a staggering value? The answer lies in a combination of multiple, overlapping minting errors that occurred during different stages of production, each adding its own layer of rarity until the final result became something so unique that experts described it as a once-in-a-century minting event. To understand the story of this legendary coin, let's start from the very beginning, the planchet stage, where blank metal discs are prepared for striking. Normally, these planchets are punched from large sheets of copper-plated zinc and carefully weighed and measured, but sometimes mistakes occur. In this particular coin's case, metallurgical analysis revealed that the planchet had slight differences in copper plating thickness and weight irregularities, suggesting that it may have been struck on a transitional or experimental planchet leftover from a previous batch. This immediately set it apart from regular pennies, but that was only the beginning. The next clue came from its appearance. The coin's surface showed a distinct off-color tone, with a mix of reddish copper hues and subtle silver-gray patches, indicating that the plating process might have been uneven or partially incomplete, exposing some of the zinc core underneath. This partial plating or unplated error is rare enough to attract attention, but what made this example extraordinary was that it also displayed dramatic doubling on the obverse, the front of the coin, particularly on the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2000. Under magnification, this doubling was crisp, bold, and perfectly separated, meaning it wasn't a result of machine vibration but a genuine double die error created during the hubbing of the die itself. In modern minting, such double dies are extremely rare because the mint had long improved its die-making techniques to prevent them, yet this one slipped through, giving the coin an eye-catching and unmistakable anomaly that alone could have made it worth thousands. But as experts examined it further, they found even more unusual features. The coin was struck slightly off-center, meaning that the obverse and reverse designs were misaligned relative to the planchet, with part of the rim missing and part of the blank metal visible. This kind of off-center strike adds uniqueness because no two are identical, and collectors love the visual quirkiness it creates. Even more fascinating, though, was the discovery of a dramatic die clash, an error that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of each design onto the opposite die. On this coin, faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial could be seen behind Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, while ghostly traces of Lincoln's face appeared faintly behind the columns on the reverse, creating a haunting, almost artistic appearance that captivated everyone who saw it. As if that wasn't enough, the coin also showed signs of being struck through a foreign object, possibly a small fragment of metal or grease that had fallen into the press during minting. This caused a distorted area on the reverse where some of the design was missing or weakly struck, adding yet another layer of complexity. These kinds of struck-through errors vary widely depending on the object involved, but they're always intriguing because they freeze a moment of minting mishap in metal forever. In this case, the area behind the memorial's lower steps showed unusual texture and missing details consistent with a grease-filled die, meaning that debris had clogged part of the die cavity during striking. Combining all these, partial plating, doubled die, off-center strike, die clash, struck through, and composition irregularities, created a coin that defied all expectations. Professional graders and numismatists were stunned when it first surfaced. The story goes that the coin was discovered in a roll of pennies purchased from a Denver bank by a hobbyist coin roll hunter, someone who regularly searches through rolls for rare varieties. When they first saw it, they noticed the unusual color and slight off-center alignment, but once they looked under magnification, the dramatic doubling and other features became clear. Realizing it might be special, they sent it to a leading coin grading company for verification. The graders, upon inspection, confirmed the authenticity of every error and concluded that all of them had occurred at the mint, not post-mint, which is crucial for determining value. Once authenticated, the coin was certified as a genuine multi-error specimen and encapsulated for preservation. When the coin's image was released, it immediately became the subject of conversation across the numismatic world. Collectors from around the globe debated how such a series of errors could have occurred on a single coin, especially in the modern minting era known for its precision. Some theorized that the coin might have been struck during a transitional period between die setups when the press was being tested with irregular planchets. Others believed that a combination of worn dies, mechanical malfunction, and human oversight created a perfect storm of mistakes. Whatever the cause, its authenticity was beyond question, and its uniqueness undeniable. When it finally went up for auction, anticipation was sky-high. Bidding started strong and climbed rapidly as collectors realized they were witnessing history. By the time the hammer fell, the final price had soared to $2 million, a figure that few thought possible for a modern Lincoln cent, but one that reflected both its rarity and the intense demand for truly one-of-a-kind minting anomalies. After the sale, the 2000 D penny became a legend. It was featured in coin magazines, exhibitions, and documentaries as an example of how even a coin struck in the billions can produce one single piece that stands apart from all others. Its combination of multiple errors, perfect preservation, and dramatic visual appeal made it irresistible to high-end collectors who saw it as not just a coin but a masterpiece of minting chaos. It also sparked a massive surge of interest in error coins from the year 2000, leading many people to re-examine their change in hopes of finding another hidden treasure. Indeed, the discovery inspired a new wave of collectors, especially younger hobbyists who realized that valuable coins could still appear in modern circulation, not just old and antique pieces. The errors on the 2000 D penny are a perfect case study in how minting mistakes occur. The double die comes from misalignment during die creation, before striking. The off-center strike happens during production when the planchet isn't properly seated between the dies, the die clash results when the dies strike without a planchet, the struck-through grease happens when debris blocks part of the die cavity, and the plating irregularities stem from inconsistencies in the electroplating process that coats the zinc core with copper. For all of these to appear together in one coin means multiple failures across different stages, something so improbable that experts estimated the odds at 1 in hundreds of billions. That's why the coin's value isn't just about its metal, it's about its story, its unrepeatable nature, and the fascination it generates. The coin also became a benchmark for grading companies, helping refine classification standards for complex multi-error coins. Because so many overlapping anomalies existed on this one coin, it challenged graders to document and describe each one accurately, leading to new terminology and methods for cataloging multi-error specimens.